Hi, I'm back. This is part two. So I didn't take a break between making this. I mean, there's maybe like a few seconds between part one and part two of the video. So this is part two. It's actually a separate video, but you know what I mean. So it's the update, part two of the update. So yeah, I'm talking about my study. I'm doing a study in my class on the effects of family communication on the exercising of its members. So I had to interview at least 7 people, and I was trying to book. I had people who agreed to like 11 interviews. I had 11 people, but some of them canceled. Some of them never really got back with me. So I ended up doing 7 interviews, which is one more than the amount I needed, which is great. That was like a perfect amount. And so I got all my 7 interviews. The shortest interview was like 40 minutes. The longest was an hour. Most of them were like around 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And I think there was only one that was as short as 40 minutes. The rest were like 45 minutes or 50 minutes, and then one was an hour. Well, actually, the second one was about an hour. You know what I'm saying? Or another one was about 50 minutes. So it went well. So I got all my interviews in, and what we were talking about was the subject of this is the influence of family communication on the exercising of its members. So how I originally got this idea was, if you're athletic, maybe you look back at your life and you thought, wow, I wish I could have gotten an earlier start at exercising, but we don't really get smart. Our brains don't really develop, and until like a later age, because a young child is not as knowledgeable. Also, we don't really gain as much knowledge. So some of us, we had to be self-taught. We taught ourselves what we could from books and magazines, and now in this modern age, maybe it's the internet. You have videos like on YouTube, or you have just online stuff you can read about exercising, or wherever you get your knowledge from, and plus self-taught, but your own experience. But I had to kind of teach myself everything I know about exercise. So, but if I had gotten an earlier start, like if I had been coached by my family, I might have been a much greater athlete in life. And, you never know. I mean, I'd like to believe I could have been like a super great athlete, like a professional. So I guess the point is that, what your family can teach you can give you a tremendous advantage in life. So that was kind of it. Like I look back at myself, and I often ask myself, or say to myself, or I had over the years, over the decades, wow, I wish I would have known about everything I know about exercising now at an earlier age, And if I had been able to teach myself at a younger age, or if somebody had been able to coach me or teach me, then I would have been like a much greater athlete, because I made a lot of mistakes and I didn't really know a lot. And I didn't know enough until I learned myself from reading, books, magazines, personal experience, that sort of thing. So your family can give you like a good head start in life on things, not just on exercise, but a lot of things. Like if you want to be a mathematician, they could get you going on mathematics from a young age, or just whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you wanted to be a pianist or a musician or a dancer, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So getting an early start in life, starting from a young age, can really help you. But that was just sort of the original idea. But it's also just about a lot of things. So some of the topics are in my study I'm doing. I got to transcribe all my interviews now, which is going to be a hard work. Plus I have my normal coursework and I'm going to work. But I'm going to be talking about, just in my interviews, some of the main topics were like, what did your family do to be like a role model? How did they encourage you? Did you go out for sports? Did your coaches encourage you? How did that compare to your family? Also your friends, not only your friends from like sports, like your teammates, but also your peers that you hung out with, you played with, and other things like, how was your self-teaching when you taught yourself? How did that compare with, the family? And then just other things like, were there any things that were like affected the family from outside? Like maybe your parents saw something on TV or on the internet, or there was a fitness club that was suddenly built near where you lived that just totally changed your family to become more fitness oriented. Or were there things that detracted, like maybe just stuff happened in your life that made it more difficult for your whole family and for you? Or did some of your friends like corrupt you? Like maybe you got into stuff like cigarettes and alcohol and partying, and maybe that detracted from you. Or maybe you had a romantic relationship where your partner took away some of your exercise time, or just things like school and work, and how do you balance all of your things in life? And that's a really important kind of subject. And if I write a thesis for my exit program project, maybe I could get into like more about exercise communication, not just focused on the family, but how does exercise communication in your life help you overcome things like obstacles? Like, well, we have things we have to do in life when we get tired, and just stuff like work, school, and having a good balance, making sure you can get all your exercise in and stay healthy and fit. and be the best you can. Try to be the best you want to be. So I see we've already hit 5 minutes again. So now I've talked about my study. I don't know if I'll make a third video right after this. Maybe I will just start talking again about whatever comes to my mind. But anyway, so thanks a lot for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a super great time. Appreciate you checking in here.